Hi everybody. I hope that I've got a hold of this the right way tonight. I'm going to give this a try and make sure that it's the right view. I've been struggling with that whenever I do lives, but this is Julie's Wreath Boutique, and I'm going to bring you up on my iPad here and make sure that I can share you with my groups here. I'm going to do that. But how is everybody? Do I have some people watching? I have 22 people watching. You guys are the best. Thank you. Pop on and say hi, and let's get started, okay? It's 8 o'clock, and I like to get everything done as soon as I can here and not take too much of your time. I want to show you a few things. Tonight we're going to work on a 10-inch frame, okay? The original flower that I did, I used a 12-inch frame. So I want to show you basically, we're going to do this in a smaller wreath form tonight because of time, because I don't want to keep you here an hour and a half. You have probably other lives to watch tonight, I bet. And we're just going to get right to it. So I do want to show you, though, if you want to use a 12-inch frame, how to go about that. As you can see, I connected my pipe cleaners to each of the brackets. You've seen me do this before. If not, I'm going over it again. And then I added a pipe cleaner. I make a grid. And what I do is I put one here, and I wrap it around this pipe cleaner, wrap it around this pipe cleaner, and then I attach it to this pipe cleaner. Okay? And so I'm just going to finish this just so that you can see what I do here. So it's there is no, there's no pretty method or anything. We just want to make a grid. So if you want to use a 12-inch wreath frame, you can. Okay? See how I just wrap that around? We're going to go over here. We're going to wrap it around. Go over here and wrap it around. And then you would just wrap it to this. But what that will do, will make another set of rings, so to speak, kind of like that, to put more petals, okay? So that's if you want to use a 12-inch, but we're not going to use a 12-inch tonight, everybody. We're going to use a 10-inch. And what I also want to show you is who watched the live, I think I did it 2 weeks ago, where I made the center. We're not going to go through the center tonight, just because of time. I want to be able to make a full wreath. As you can see, we're going to make it from finish to the end. And but I listed this live in the top of this live, so you can go right to it. And you're just going to take a 3 1/8 hemisphere styrofoam ball, cut it in half, and then you're going to get these pearls. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, you can get them at Joann's, you can get them at a lot of places. They're very inexpensive. I believe, yep, $2.99. You get 24 feet. I can make 2 of these with one of these. So, and at $2.99 at Hobby Lobby, it's $1.50 every other week because it's over by the craft trims and the fabrics. And then, of course, I just glue that all on, and you see that in the live. And then I get these corsage pins. You see those? They're about that long. They are the David Tutera, I guess, corsage pins. And I got these at Michael's. But I hear Hobby Lobby has them too. So check them out. So we're going to put this to the side, guys, and we're going to use this in a little bit, okay? But don't worry. There is a live showing you step by step how to make this, okay? So let's get started. First off, I took 5 pipe cleaners, and I just put them in half, and I wrapped them around, and then I put 5, twisted them around in the center, and secured them on the bottom. And I know that you guys, if you saw my live last Thursday night, you saw me do that already. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with poly burlap first. And if you work with poly burlap or deco mesh, let's use a wood burner. It cuts your poly burlap well, it cuts your deco mesh well, it helps with the frame. It really truly helps make a better product for your customer or for your family or for yourself. So When I cut my leaves, I cut them about 11.5 inches. So this is a 10-inch roll of poly burlap. I cut at 11.5 inches, okay? So you're gonna need 5 of these because with a 10-inch, we go by the bracket. So there's 5 brackets. So we're gonna do 5 leaves. So I'm going to put my chenille stem, just like I always do. If you've seen my lives before, I do it this way. One on this edge of the bracket, and then I wrap it around the opposite. And we are going to just bring our ends in the middle, and I'm just going to, what do you call that? I can't even think tonight. You know what I meant. You're going to, oh, I can't think, ruffle or, scrunch it up. I can't think. I don't know why. So anyway, so here we go. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another leaf. Let's just do all of our leaves, okay? And we'll get that part over with. And that way you can see what I'm doing. You can do this as you go, but generally when I work, I do my leaves first. So I just wrap it around the one bar. Make sure your pipe cleaner is on the opposite end of the bar. Make sure that this is rolled up. The curve is rolling up. I take my edges, meet them in the middle, and then I'm just going to gather them in the center. Flip them over for my bow tie, and then I'm going to just secure once on my wreath frame. And that's it. Hey everybody, it's good to see you all. I'm going to just get these done, and then I'm going to show you what I came up with. And I really like this flower. I think it's, kind of feel like it gives the poly burlap a little bit of softness, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? And I just really liked the way it looked. I made this originally for my grandmother who had passed away. She was my step-grandmother, but she had been my step-grandmother for 25 years. And she just was a dear, dear lady. And so I wanted to make something for her memorial that honored her. And so if you knew her, the pearls and the gems in the center, it really was who Marcella was. She was such a sweet, sweet lady. So, okay, so here we go. We've got our base made. Over here, what I want to do, okay, so you're going to cut, this is what's different about this one. You're going to cut, and again, feel free to use any color you want to use. I use a cream poly burlap, it's 10 inches, and then I use a white piece of deco mesh, and that's 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the poly burlap is going to be underneath the deco mesh, okay? So when we go to make our petal, the poly burlap will be on the inside here, and the deco mesh will be on the outside. Does that make sense? So what I did is I already have cut out all of my petals, and I wanted to have as much done before y'all got on here with me. And so to make it a little bit easier, I kind of just do this, and I have a basket off to the side here of a bunch of these that I've already put together, okay? So what are we going to do with this? We are going to take the poly burlap, and the deco mesh is out on the outside, okay? What the deco mesh does, it softens your poly burlap. And we are going to make sure that it's sitting the curved side up. We're going to take our opposite ends, and we're going to meet them in the middle, and then we are going to gather them, okay? I'm going to turn it over, and this is what you're going to see, okay? So let's get our frame, and we're going to start right here. I'm going to put one right here. So you're pretty much using double the materials here. You're using a little bit more than one roll of poly burlap, and you're going to be using about 2 rolls, about 1.5 rolls of the deco mesh. If you hear my dog, it's because he probably thinks that the kids are coming downstairs, and they better not be coming downstairs. So here we go. So we're going to do that again. I've already got my pieces together. Remember that the poly burlap is on the inside and the deco mesh is on the outside. And you're going to meet in the middle and you're going to gather it. And you're going to turn it over. And you got to keep a good hold of it because that's a little bit more than you normally have, okay? And we're going to connect it here. So at this point, I'm going to connect this to my wreath frame. I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to twist it. And I'm going to secure it to my wreath frame. So if you hear my dog, that's because he thinks he's in charge. So anyway, so we've got that. So now what we're going to do, and I know I've taught you this on my other tutorials, we're going to go to this one. And here's one that I already kind of started. So I'm going to just meet that in the middle. And this doesn't have to be perfect, okay? We're going to put it right here, do a twist, and then I'm going to do one more over top of that. So you're still doing the 2 petals, but you've got a double layer here. Does that make sense? So these are 10 inches, and my dog is having a cow, let me tell you. So I'm going to connect it down here. So, okay, so do you see that? So now that we've done this side and this side, we're going to come back and we're going to do this middle. Do you see the middle brackets there? I know that I point this out every single tutorial that I do, but it's really important. Riley, lay down. Sorry about that. So, getting onto my dog. So we're going to put a pipe cleaner right here, and I just make a cross there, and I'm going to do the same thing I did here, and here I'm going to put 2 of them right here. Again, remember I've already assembled the deco mesh and the poly burlap just to make it a little bit easier. And whenever you're making petals for your wreaths, you want a 10-inch by 10-inch square. I mean, you can do a smaller square, but if you do a smaller square, be prepared to do more petals, okay? So mostly any of my, if you're going to do one of my wreaths, just know Julie does a 10 by 10 inch square every time. And that'll just help you. So hopefully my dog will, you know, calm down here. So again, here we go. We got the softness of that deco mesh. So listen, who's in Wreath Creators and More? If you're in Wreath Creators and More, give me some hearts. I want to see some hearts tonight. And if you are not in my group, Wreath Creators and More, you need to join. I will put a link in the top of this post when I'm done tonight. So we did 2 of these and we connected it to the bar in front, okay? So now we have a petal on the leaves, 2 on the petal and the leaves, 1 in the middle. Now we go over to this other leaf, okay? So if you're in Wreath Creators, we'd love to have you. If you like to craft, if you'd like to learn to craft, you don't have to make just wreaths to be in our group. We take all kinds, and we love to see people's creativity, and we'd love to have you come. So we're going to put another petal there. Trying to get this through. So let's see, has spring started for everybody, or are you like here, me in Michigan, we're supposed to get snow tonight. Yay! Yay for Michigan. I don't know. I wonder, we go through this every spring though. Every spring. So I'm just going to twist this. This is a 10-inch frame. I showed you earlier that we had a 12-inch frame. I showed you how you can make a grid in the middle so that if you want to make a bigger one, you can work your way through that. Okay, so we've done the outside, so we're going to go back and do this middle part right here. And we're going to put one right there. I'm going to put 2, okay? So make sure, again, they don't have to be like you know, just exactly right. They have to be around the same spot, okay? Flowers are not perfect. Nature is not perfect. So your wreaths do not have to be perfect. So this is just the way I do it. Hope this helps. And I think this would be really pretty in some different colors. What colors? I would love to see a rose gold mesh and maybe an ivory. I think that would be really pretty. I think if you wanted to use a pink poly burlap and a pink mesh, I think you could do so many different things with it. It would be so pretty. So here I'm just going to wrap it around. The whole point of me going underneath is to make sure that the petals are anchored on so that nothing's going to go anywhere, because that you don't want your petals to go anywhere, okay? So, hi Kimberly. Hi Diana. It's nice to see everybody. I'm sorry I'm not paying attention more to your questions. What do you do to cut with your mesh with no frays? The wood burner, Deborah. You need to have a wood burner, okay? So in the last live I did the pink flower, I show you how I did the wood burner. I also have a YouTube video, guys. If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, it's called Julie's Wreath Boutique. All the same name. So I want to stop and go back to this. So we've done 3 of the leaves, okay? We've done 2 of the middles. And so now we're going to go and we're going to do this first inside bar, okay? Normally, if you were doing just a regular sunflower wreath, you would just do 2 petals. But we are going to do 3 petals simply because when you look at this, that is a lot smaller than the actual center of this wreath. So to compensate for that, we are going to put extra petals towards the inside of our wreath, okay? And so I'm going to put my pipe cleaner up here, and I should be able to attach 3 layers of petals with this one pipe cleaner, okay? So let's do 1 here. Man, somebody is predicting a tornado. That's awful. I hope that doesn't happen, but I guess it's springtime. That's when this stuff happens. Okay, so I'm going to just twist this. I'm going to add another one. And I generally like to try to add the curlier cuts of mesh towards the inside of your wreath, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Okay, so we've got 2 there. So we're going to do 1 more, guys. Okay. So I do have tutorials that I do sell, and I know I've mentioned this probably every time, but I do have 2 private groups for those tutorials. And in those private groups, if you purchase the tutorials for my apple blossom, for my marigold, or for my Christmas tree, I do private lives for those groups, and I also answer questions within those groups. And all you have to do is purchase those tutorials. If you're not up for purchasing tutorials, that's okay. I have a YouTube channel, and you can find more tutorials over there as well, okay? But for some of my premium wreaths and techniques, I do have those, and I'm doing a live on Friday in the apple blossom and marigold group. All right, so I'm looking here. I'm going to get a drink because I'm getting hoarse. So I was sick last week. So now we're going to go and we're going to do another one here, okay? So the reason why this is my method, where I call it the backtrack method, and basically what I want you to do is work your way just enough and then backtrack a little bit so that you're never working over top of any of your other petals. I don't want you to smash them down. I don't want you to make them fray anymore. But this is what I do. This is just kind of a method that I kind of did in my head. And I actually did it after I put my sunflower tutorial up on YouTube. So in the sunflower tutorial, I just show you doing 1 layer and then another layer. But if you can follow my backtrack method, I think that you will find it really easy and will help with fraying. So we're going to put another layer of petals here. So I'm going to tie this. I hope everybody had a good Easter. So, anyways, let's see here. Do you like Julie's Wreath Boutique? Do you follow my page? Because when you follow my page and you like it, then you'll see more of this sort of thing. If you'd like to share this live, it's always appreciated. If you want to share it on your timeline, then you have it when you want to come back to make one. But I like to do these lives with you guys when I can and I have the time, and to show you how to do something a little bit different. So we're going to put, as you can see, I backtracked and went back one. So you do the outside, backtrack to the middle, do an outside, backtrack to the middle, and then once you have two middles, then you can do the inside. And let's see here. So now that Easter is done, is everybody working on Mother's Day wreaths? What kind of wreaths are you working on now? How wide is this wreath when it's finished? It should be, Lisa, this should be, let's see, I can tell you in a moment here. It should be about 24 inches. That's usually, if you do a 10-inch wreath, yeah, you're looking at, from leaf to leaf, you're looking at about 24 inches in diameter, okay? That's what I can tell you. 10 inches, you're looking at 24 inches. 12 inches, you're looking at a 26. 14 inches, you're looking at a 28-inch wreath. So, okay, so as I just did the middle, we're going to go back and we're going to do this middle, the inside, and we're going to put 3. Because remember, we got to work our way through, okay? Now, I want to show you, let's see here. I'm going to show you the 12-inch. If we were working our way inside, we would put the next set of petals over here. And if you needed another set of petals, you would put them on this one. So just so that would kind of explain that for you. Like I said, when I'm all done with this, I will list all the materials that we used in the post itself so that you can go back. And like I said, if you share this to your page, it will have that list for you, okay? So we're going to put 3 petals here. So, and I did share this to my wreath creators and more. Sometimes I've started these and I haven't shared, and so somebody shares it for me in the middle. But we're going to put 3 here, and as you can see, we're getting really close to the end here. I like the 10-inch wreath frames. I know that they are not easy to be found, and this came apart a little bit, so I'm trying to fix it. I like to get them at consumercrafts.com. Consumercrafts.com. You can get them there for $1.57 a wreath frame. And their shipping is either usually very reasonable, like $5, or it's free if you spend over like $49. Now see, I'm just connecting it to that bar of pipe cleaners that I made. And what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll clip all of this extras when I'm done here, okay? So as you can see, it's getting pretty full. Can you see it? So now we're going to do this last outside frame here. Let's see here. Some of them are a little bit flatter than others, so I kind of like to go through, make sure I get the flatter edges. And remember, we have our 10-inch deco mesh, and then we overlap that with our 10-inch poly burlap. Again, color of your choice, okay? Whatever you want to do, you do. Whatever you have on hand, you make it work. All right? Do I spray them when I'm done to keep it? Yes, I do spray these. I have showed you before. I use the Rust-Oleum clear matte spray. You could use the gloss. I prefer the matte. It's just a preference. And that's what I use. And it should help with reducing the UV ray effect on your wreath. I'm not sure if that would, I don't make a lot of grapevine wreaths. This is what I make. You know why I make these wreaths? Because this is what makes me money. This is what I can reproduce quickly. This is what people seem to like. And so this is what I kind of stick to. I do Christmas trees, and I do snowmen and all that good stuff at Christmas time, but I stick to the flowers. So I do use that UV protectant spray. It's Rust-Oleum, and I don't have a bottle down here tonight. I usually do. I'm sorry, I don't have it with me tonight. So we did the outside, so now we're going to go back and do a middle layer here. I'm going to do 2 of those. So, where do I purchase my mesh and my burlap? Okay, this burlap and this mesh came from Craft Outlet. And the reason why I waited to make this wreath for you guys is because Craft Outlet was out of the cream poly burlap. So once they got it back in, and of course then I've done other lives for you, but this is, but you don't have to use this color. But I do use craftoutlet.com. Not sure what they have in stock right now. I know a lot of people are really frustrated with Craft Outlet and places like Trendy Tree, and they just don't seem to be having the supplies that they have had in the past, and that's kind of frustrating. So I do know that Michaels sells mesh. I do know that Hobby Lobby sells mesh. None of them sell poly burlap though, and I don't know why. Have no idea why. Okay, and I've got to talking. So I went to the middle section. Make sure I did that right. Yep, I went to the middle section, and we're gonna put one there, and we're gonna add another one. Okay, kind of smashing that down a little bit. So let's see. I'm gonna do another one. And again, this does not have to be perfect, okay? It'll be all right. Do one more. And again, the tighter it gets in here, the harder it gets to get it all together here. So, I'll put these. But I did use the wood burner to cut this. Okay, all right, and then that's the 3rd layer. And okay, just twist that really good, because that's a lot of mesh. That's 6 pieces of deco mesh and poly burlap. So I'm just going to pull this down, and I'm going to flip it over. See how I'm attaching that? Yes, it's deco mesh, Ellen. It's a piece of deco mesh and poly burlap mesh. And that's what makes this flower different. It has the different textures. That's the word I wanted to use, okay? So we're going to use one more for the middle here. This is the middle frame. That's what's left, okay? Can you see what's left there? And so you take a piece of deco mesh, and you're going to place your poly burlap. These are cut 10 inches, and they were 10-inch rolls, okay? And we're going to do 2. So the outside leaves have 2 sets of petals. The middle have 2 sets of petals, and the inside are going to have 3 sets of the petals. So I hope that is clear as mud. I hope. So, okay. But if you have, say you have some poly burlap at home and you want to try this with it, try it. This would be pretty with a blue and a blue deco mesh. Silver, I mean, you could do gold and a color. I don't know, what is your favorite, school colors? I don't know. You can make a flower that way by using the deco mesh and the poly. So, okay. So all I'm down to is 2 more pieces, the 2 center strands. So this is good. We're really doing well here. So I'm going to get this, and then we will talk about our center. And I did link in the top of this post. Don't leave now. You have to wait. You have to give me some more time, okay? But I did post in the top. I did a live on the center where I made this. If you're catching on, we're going to put this in the middle. And by the way, I think this would be beautiful for a wedding. If you are decorating for a wedding, and this would be beautiful. And then the bride could take this home and decorate her house with it. Why not? So we're going to put 3 of these petals here. 1. Okay. So I asked at the beginning, if you're in my group, Wreath Creators and More, give me some love. Can I see some hearts for Wreath Creators and More? We're going to do the second one here. And 1 more. So I'd like to see my screen with lots of hearts. There we go. I know. I've got my girls. I got my peeps here. I appreciate that. And I have some gentlemen in my group as well. So we're going to just attach this down here. So let's see here. I do have some designs. If you like the way I teach, you might like even better the tutorials that I sell. Those are a little bit, of course, more produced, and everything is an overhead shot when I teach, because here's the most important thing. You need to see what I'm doing. You need to see exactly where everything is put, every piece of mesh, every piece of burlap, or whatever I do, you need to be able to see it. And that's what I find very important in teaching, is that you have to see it. So if you've purchased a tutorial from me and you're watching, give me a thumbs up. And I appreciate all of you that have purchased my tutorials and have continued to. I have several options how to do that, and would love to have you in one of my private groups. Once you purchase that tutorial, you're in that group, and there is no more fees for that. So you get my attention one-on-one in that group. So, okay, so here's our final thing, and then we'll be able to fluff all this up and see how pretty it is, okay? But as you can tell, I haven't had to smash anything down, and that's what I kind of like about this, the way that I put it together. So 1 here, and then we're going to do 1 more, okay? Thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's a great compliment when you guys can learn, and you can go home and make this stuff too. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to pull these out of the way because everything's getting a little crowded in here. Okay, but that's good. We want the center to be tight. You don't want a bunch of gaps, okay? And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to connect it. Now, when I'm all done with this, okay, and I'm not going to bore you to tears, but I'm going to put a piece of felt on this, and I'm going to connect it to the outer brackets, okay? So that just covers up everything. So as you can see, everything is kind of sticking together. That's okay, okay, because we're going to go through and we're going to just kind of separate everything out. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, we've got our hole there, okay? I'm going to take my center that I've already made in a previous live, and I have this link on the top of this post. So when you're done watching this live, go watch how I made this. It's just a half a piece of styrofoam, this beaded pearls, $2.99. I can get 2 of these made, and these are actually half price every other week at Hobby Lobby. And then I use, and you don't have to use this added, these are corsage pins that are about that big, and can you see how big that is? So you're going to use that. So go watch that live to learn how to do that, okay? So I'm going to take my pipe cleaners and I'm going to run it through. I'm going to turn this over for you here in a sec, okay? This is where I could use some different colored pipe cleaners, I think, so I could see them, all right? So here's one, there's one, and I'm going to grab the other one in here. I think it's over here. Yeah, this is where a different color would be really nice. And I've got all you watching, and you're probably like, okay, Julie, come on, find it. Did you find it yet? I got it. There we go. All right, and so all you're going to do is you're going to twist that just a little bit. I'm going to bring it over, make sure I have it, and yep, that looks about right. And I'm going to twist it, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I will come back after I show you how to flip that to fluff all this up. I'll get rid of that. But again, you don't have to watch that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here and I'm going to grab the petals together. And now I'm going to grab the mesh and the poly burlap together and I'm going to start separating these, okay? Just to give this more dimension. So, what time is it right now? Can anybody tell me what time it is? And I can tell you how long that took me to put together. I already had everything cut out for you, but once you have all your pieces of mesh cut out, it really doesn't take that long to put this all together. So here I've got a strand, so I'm going to cut it. Sometimes these just pull out real easy, sometimes they don't, and that's okay. We're going to just separate. Now here I've got a little bit of a mess. These are a little bit twisted, so let's just separate them as well as I can, and I can still move this a little bit. Okay. 8:38. Okay, awesome. So it took me less than 40 minutes to get to this part. Now, if you were making the middle, yeah, the middle would take you another 20 minutes probably to make. So, with prep time, you know, I think that you can make this easily in an hour and a half. And I think that's the long part of it. And again, I've got one that's kind of fraying a little bit on me, but you're always going to have that one piece, you know what I mean? There's always that one piece. So we're just going to keep going through, and you're going to work your way out. So what do you guys think? Do you like that? You're just going to work your way through and make sure that you have all your spots filled. As you can see, I think that's pretty good. And I'm just trying to give it a little bit more volume out here. Not sure, can you see that? So I'm sure there are other lives going on right now. But I may even try and see if I can put this up on my YouTube channel as well and upload it there. But you know what I also think would be pretty is if you tried this. You know how we doubled up on the mesh and the poly burlap? Wouldn't it be pretty to do this with the leaves as well? You could use the same technique on the leaves and do just give it a little even more of a pop. Use some green deco mesh on top of your green poly. So, and sometimes you're just going to go through here. Let's just make this and move it around here. And then, so I think that's about it. I think that's it, and I appreciate you guys watching. And this is how you can do a poly burlap deco mesh elegant pearl and gem center. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.